Which of these foods will our golden-tailed sugar ant colony choose as their favorite food? I have set up an experiment that could change what you feed your ant colonies, or at least make you reconsider your choice of food for them. This experiment will prove to us ant keepers something we may not have ever considered before. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Ant Keeper, where I upload every week about all things ant related. If you find yourself enjoying this video, please subscribe and join the AK colony. Your support really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. Wouldn't it be useful to know what flavors your ants like or don't like? Maybe this whole time I've been giving my ant colonies foods they like but don't love. After all, humans and animals like variety, and I've noticed already when feeding my ants that different genuses have different preferences on what type of foods they like. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to know what their preferences are? In case there's a food source they really love to eat, a food source that they could really benefit from? That's why this week I decided to conduct an experiment on my golden-tailed sugar ant colony as so-called guinea pigs to an ultimate test using common flavors that most ant keepers would readily have at home. I was surprised as to which flavors they preferred and which flavors they didn't even touch, so keep on watching until the end to find out. First, I want to go over the flavor components of this experiment. This test will be identifying what the golden-tailed sugar ant colony prefers in the sweet category. I feel like testing, say, protein and sugar at the same time wouldn't give us clear results. Also, this genus of Campanose ants here in Australia is commonly known as sugar ants. I think this colony of all my ants would be the experts at deciding which sugar flavor is the best. I decided to make jelly cups at home using basic household ingredients. Why, you may ask? Have you noticed that it's super common in ant stores to sell food in a jelly form? For example, this is the protein source I primarily use for my queen ants and colonies in test tube setups. I know this colony will readily eat the jelly since it's a substance they are very familiar with. Plus, I've noticed in particular that ants enjoy or seem to prefer softer foods that are easier to digest. If you're following this at home and want to try it yourself, this is how you make ant sugar food in a jelly form. It's super simple and actually a lot of fun to make. You can even use this recipe to make jelly for yourself too. First, use a kettle to boil 1 cup of water in a small mixing bowl. This will be the base to the jelly. Next, add the food source and gelatin. In my first batch, I poured about 50 grams of white sugar and mixed it really well. The white sugar will be the unique sweet flavor for this batch. Once you've mixed that well, then add 1 tablespoon of gelatin powder and mix that well again. Lastly, pour the mixture into molds and refrigerate for 3 to 4 hours or overnight to set. It's worth noting that my golden-tailed colony's diet consists of 2 primary food sources: mealworms for the protein and organic honey for sugar. I usually place the organic honey on a piece of aluminium foil or baking paper twice a week. Here are the flavors I'll be using in this experiment. White sugar. It's the standard go-to sugar for any ant keeper. I'd be crazy not to include this flavor in the experiment, and that's why it's here. Coca-Cola, or Coke for short, is super common around the world, likely a popular drink you've had at some point before. When I was thinking between all the sugar flavors I could use, I thought Coke would be a really interesting flavor to try. I'm going to use the normal Coke, which we all know is full of sugar, perfect for this experiment. Vanilla essence. Who doesn't like vanilla essence? It's amazing, right? Of all the jellies, this one actually has a scent, a distinct vanilla scent that's actually making me really hungry. For the last flavor, I wanted to try something different altogether. The last flavor is mango. I sometimes use small pieces of fruit as snacks for my colonies. I'm really interested to see how the fruit stacks up against the other flavors. I wanted to use mango since it's my favorite fruit and in season here at the moment. These are the 5 very different flavors ranging across all vastly different scopes of the sweet spectrum. I'll be feeding the ants in a box that will be attached to the outworld of the sugar ant colony. Here it is. I call it the Wonka box. Yeah, it's the best name I could come up with, alright? It's not a great name, I know, but I'm sticking with it. The Wonka box. This feeding outworld is a plastic box with a hole cut out of one end and a piece of tubing connected to the outworld. This species of Campanose loves to climb up vertical surfaces, especially when they get startled, and I'll tell you what, they get startled really easily. So I have applied a generous amount of fluon around the edges. Hopefully I won't need to apply more, which would risk disturbing the colony. Inside the Wonka box, I have placed the jelly inside. I also have 2 direct lights on either side to create even lighting throughout the experiment. I'm going to run this test for 24 hours, and the winner will be decided by the sheer amount of jelly that has been consumed in after the 24-hour period has ended. Now we will connect the outworld ants to the Wonka box. This is the first time this colony has travelled outside of their outworld. I'm curious, what do you think will be this colony's favourite food? The first few workers that were scratching at the door figuratively, as they eagerly waited for me to pull the cotton away, have become quite shy about the new factory of sugary goodness. The new smells and gentle breeze of the fresh, cool air excites the colony as they talk out who's going to be the first worker to explore this new territory. I decided to turn off the lights and give this colony a little break for an hour to see if they build up the courage to explore when I'm not staring over them. When I came back to see how this colony was going, I could see that small little nibbles had been taste tested by some of the workers. It seems like the white sugar and Coke were the only 2 flavours touched at this point. I waited for another 2 hours with not a lot happening, so I decided to call it a night and see what mess I would find the following day. When I opened my door and turned on the lights to catch a glimpse of what this expert sugar-tasting colony had been feasting on, they immediately scurried around in a panic, scrambling around the Wonka box. However, the remnants of what they'd been eaten was clearly evident. To my surprise, they had partially eaten 2 of the 4 jellies I'd set out for them, the white sugar being the absolute favourite. They clearly loved this jelly, then suddenly got tired of it maybe. They also had eaten a fair bit of the vanilla jelly. It seems the vanilla scent made them hungry too. The Coke and mango flavoured jellies, however, had barely been touched, with just a few licks being noted. There were many variables in this experiment that may have altered the results. And it's true, I confess I am not a scientist. However, I feel if I did this experiment again, I would get the same results. The white sugar, in its refined state, was without a doubt the winner of this experiment. Although by the sheer amount of sugar content, the Coke jelly actually had more sugar in it. Perhaps the ants are more likely to be attracted to simpler, less complex sweet tastes, rather than the ingredient-rich Coke flavour. At the beginning of this experiment, I really didn't know what to expect. Now I have a much better idea which flavour this colony prefers. Are you surprised at what the ants chose as their favourite food? Were you right with your guess at the beginning of the video? Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, it really helps me out. Also, have you subscribed and become part of the AK colony? If you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe and join the ant keeping community and be a part of one of the fastest growing colonies here on YouTube. I'd like to know from you. Would you like to see more experiments like this one? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks everyone, I'll see you on the next video. Until then, ant keepers unite.